I thought we were doing a hip hop show.
I know. It's been a long time. Shouldn't have left you without a dope podcast to listen to. It's your boy Rich. It's your boy Rich. We back in the building again. Real Talk with Rich is back. It's good to be back. Shout out to everybody. I got the Chief Don Dada Paul with me on tonight. And we are here to have a discussion. Normally we would have a regular show, but I didn't want to come back, do nothing regular, didn't want to do nothing average. I wanted to go outside the box, and I want to talk about something that's near and dear to all of our hearts. Of course, we know that be comics, and we also want to talk about hip hop. Hip hop just turned 50 years old. And so I said to myself, you know what, this has been a part of my life among other things. And so why not celebrate, talk about these two amazing art forms and two amazing bodies or energies, if I can say it like that, when they're together. So tonight, we're going to chop it up. We're going to talk top 5. We're going to talk about some dope hip hop comic covers. We're going to have a conversation, and we have a guest. And my guest is the CEO of 33 and a Third Media. He is an amazing comic book collector. He's also Pittsburgh's finest. Matter of fact, he got the best club DJ in Pittsburgh. So whenever you are in the Pittsburgh area, you can find DJ Big Phil somewhere spinning the wheels of steel, whether it be at a Pittsburgh Penguins game or whether it is in your local club. My man is in the building, and I am honored to know him. He's a down-to-earth brother. He's very solid, 10 toes down, and he's also a comic head. And so tonight I wanted him to be a part of our discussion. And so I'm going to introduce to some and present to others my man, 100 grand, DJ Big Phil. Bring him up.
Man.
I want to give him accolades.
I don't even know if I deserve that good of an intro. That was great. I appreciate that, man.
Your countless awards say otherwise, brother.
fair enough.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
listen, it's all love. I'm just happy to be back here with y'all. To be honest with you, man, it's been so long, and I love chopping it up with y'all. So I'm ready to get to it. Actually, I've been itching to get back on here. If we're being honest.
Yeah, that's what's up. Well, we're glad you're here. Thank you for coming, brother. Let's just jump right on in. So, what is a hip hop show? What is a hip hop show without top five? So
Wow.
we're gonna talk top five MC.
Top five
Top.
MCs.
That's right. We putting everybody on. We putting everybody on notice tonight.
You're gonna start some fights,
top
man.
five MCs.
Woo, we start
Top
off
five
right.
MCs. Top five DJs. Top five producers.
Okay.
So who wants to go first? Let's talk MCs first. Let's talk MCs first. What you got? What you got? What you got, Paul? Come on. This ought to be easy for you, Paul.
In no particular order.
No particular order.
I'm not trying to get into that type of discussion.
For sure.
Jay-Z.
Got you.
Okay.
B.I.G.
Okay.
Got you.
Rakim.
Mm-hmm.
Last two, man.
Rough.
One that never enters the discussion. Busta Rhymes.
Yeah. It's harder than it. It's harder than it looks.
It's not easy. It's not. I don't like top five when it comes to hip hop, man. It's
right.
That's 50 years
old,
man.
Come on, bro. Come on.
And there's so many variables. We get into is it top five, your top favorites, top. I don't get into all that top impact. If we're talking our favorites, we talking favorites.
Yeah, we talking favorites. We talking favorites. We're not talking about top skills or whatever. Your favorites.
That could be your favorites, or who you think is the best.
Shit, man.
Come on, bro. You act like they watch it. If they watch it,
I'm trying to think of that fifth one. Method Man.
That was a good one.
All right. Okay. All right. That's a good one. What about you, Phil?
The nicest MC of all time, just undebatable, is Black Thought. There's nobody that's even remotely close to him when it comes to lyrics. So I have to give him. He gets my top spot, and that's even my old school cats and everything else. My overall favorite, see how I flipped that? My overall favorite of all time is Kane. Kane's my overall favorite. So you can put anybody else at that particular point. So when we then I'll go to my most important MC of all time and go Chuck D. So we got Black Thought, we got Kane, we got Chuck D. Man, I can name like 50 more. Rest of Prodigy. I'm gonna say Prodigy, man, because I love Prodigy. Wow, I was just talking crazy, and now all of a sudden I can't do it. So you know what? You ready? We're going. Black
Tamiko trying to help you out. She said Jay-Z, Ludacris, Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, and Biggie. I respect that list. I really do respect that list. But and you know what? I'm gonna put either Biggie or Busta, but I think Busta's one of the most lyrical. He's in the top 3 as far as just overall skill level. Yeah.
So that people sometimes look at the animated antics that he does and doesn't understand that this boy is really a
lyrically
beast,
sound.
But and I'm also put Little Fame from MOP in there. So I'm done. That's me. I named like 8 and I apologize.
No problem. Hey, look, I decided to put this in the show because I know it could be a difficult conversation. So for me personally, I vacillate between my top 5. My top 5.
He said vacillate between his top 5. Lord have mercy. Let's go, Pastor. Let's go, Pastor.
So here's my top 5.
Okay.
Number 1, Rakim.
Yes. Yeah.
Number 2, Chuck D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Number 3, KRS-One.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Redman. And my number 5 is a local dude to my area, MC called K Reno. He's been rapping since '86.
Nice.
He's still getting bread in this in this business. He's a lyricist, or he's real focused on lyricism. Like you think about cats like Cannabis,
For sure.
like Chino XL, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
get real witty.
Right.
He's that
Yes,
kind
sir.
of MC. So
Okay.
that's my top 5. Now they are my top 5 in terms of I think skill. Now as far as my
Okay.
favorites, it's a different list, but I
For
wanted to
sure.
keep it there. So I'm
Yeah,
not
favorites
going.
is a different list, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I try to pick artists that move the needle in the culture, and establish their own sort of thing in the culture. So
But
if
you
we're
know what?
talking favorites, that's a different list for me.
But when you start talking about moving the needle, you start to get away from your personal favorites. And I think that's the
Right.
issue. Because then we start talking about accolades and whatever. When I talk about, like, when I hear Black Thought, I don't care how many records he sold, what he's done, hasn't done, even though he's done it all, just straight bar for bar, it's unmatched, in my opinion.
All right, I'm gonna throw a monkey wrench right now. I
Okay.
need your favorite. Come on. That's hip hop, bro. We can
Let's
do
go.
this.
Let's go.
I
We can do
need
this
your
all day.
favorite. I just need one favorite lyric from one of your favorite lyrics from an MC. Not the whole 16. I just need maybe 2 bars or 4 bars.
Man.
Something that just every time you hear it just blow your mind. This ought to be easy for you, Paul.
Come on, Paul. Let's go. You go first.
It's right on the tip of my tongue. It's
I can't believe this is your man's.
So I'll give you one while he's thinking. So it's not
Okay.
necessarily it's sort of a freestyle verse that Kane does.
I got a letter the other day.
I read. Hey, that's the great. Hey, listen, that's the greatest verse of all time.
All I said was 3 words, and you already know what I'm talking about.
Man, come on, man.
I opened and read it and said they was suckers.
Hey, he was just here 2 days ago.
They wanted me for the army or whatever. Picture me giving a damn. I said never.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. That video was so impactful to me as a kid. And like, I think people don't understand that we always talk about Slick Rick being one of the greatest storytellers. That is the greatest story ever told in hip hop. It talks about him bringing the S1Ws to get you out of jail. Like, it's crazy. Like that whole.
Yeah, that's definitely cinematic for sure.
Man, okay.
Definitely cinematic.
So y'all done got me excited.
I really had Chuck D on my list, my top 5 list actually.
Pericles. I thought you was gonna say Pericles. What Pericles put? He put the opening lines to "Triumph" by Wu-Tang.
Oh my God!
I think that's
some
of the deck. I don't expect the deck. I don't think nobody in the history of hip hop has done as far as intros especially to a posse cut. That by far is.
They have done classes on Inspector Deck's 16 bars in that song, man. They've done classes on that.
Pretty dope.
I'm gonna see Wu-Tang next week in concert down here.
Okay.
With Nas.
One of my favorite lines is Rakim's microphone thing. I was a fiend before the Kamer team. I used to love the microphones cold as an ice cream. That's my guy. I love Rakim, man. Rakim is, man. I mean, that dude. That his catalog as far as MCs, that dude is sick, bro. I mean, you think about it. His one of his songs was featured in the at the very beginning of Into the Spider-Verse. That's how much range that dude got, bro. And that song that they put, that's like a 30-year-old song. That song is not new. But yeah, man. So we talked about MCs. Let's talk producers. No, not producers, not yet, not producers. Let's do DJs. Now, Phil, you a DJ. I need to know who are the guys that inspire you, my brother.
All right, so we're going. So when it comes, my number one inspiration is Jazzy Jeff. Matter of fact, he's in this painting. My girl got this for me for my birthday a couple of years ago. It was actually it has all my favorites in there. It has Kane, the Kane's at the top, got Jazzy Jeff, got my low, got the city of Pittsburgh, got the Polo Bear because I'm a low head. and they got my alma mater, Russ College, HBCU, because you know I'm HBCU
What's that
before
in the lower
everybody
right
else.
hand corner? What is that?
Right
Lower
here,
right hand. What's that?
that is that is the Bearcat icon. It was our mascot at Russ College.
Okay.
It's a bear. So, but yeah, but Jazzy Jeff is my number one. That's just, and it's crazy because that's a whole nother story. Jazzy Jeff is my number one, and he's like, shout out to my homeboy Mo from Mo Knows Best, because my homeboy Mo, if you watch all the information on Jazzy's page, you see all those dope visuals. My homeboy Mo does all of that. Actually, and Mo just did my flyer for my event. But yeah, Jazzy Jeff's my number one. Then it's like I feel like you get to my Cash Money, DJ Scratch, me. I inspire myself every day when I wake up and look in the mirror, and my anybody that's in my squad, the union DJs from the crib. So I got to give it up to my squad too, because you know it's us versus anybody. So I feel that way.
That's what's up. What about you, Paul? DJs, come on.
Just DJs, not producers, because there's a fine
DJ.
line.
We're gonna get to producers in a minute.
Jam Master J, Terminator X.
So let me tell you something. Terminator X did not do any of the scratches on that record.
He
Just
did
let
not.
you know, he did none of them. Absolutely not.
What? Don't kill my heroes, man.
Yeah, he didn't do. My guy Johnny. I'm about to say his name wrong, and that's my guy, and I apologize, but it's well documented. No disrespect, and I hate to say that out loud, but Terminator X did not do any of the scratches on those albums.
Destroying my childhood, bro.
That's crazy, ain't it? When you think about it, think about that. That's crazy. But go ahead, but still go ahead.
No, that's all ruined for me now, man.
It's all downhill after that. Come on, Paul.
DJ Johnny
out
Juice.
My sales.
DJ Johnny Juice. I believe his name is DJ Johnny Juice. I'm sorry, charge it to my head, not to my heart. But I believe it's DJ Johnny Juice was the one who did all the scratches on those Public Enemy records. It wasn't Terminator X. Terminator X was live, but Terminator X did not do the. That's not me dissing. I love Terminator X. There's no disrespect, but that's like saying somebody made the chicken wings and they didn't. He didn't do any of the scratches, and that's nothing against Terminator X, because I love Terminator X too. My childhood was ruined when I found out he didn't do the scratches either.
Oh Lord! All right, so also got Funk Master Flex.
Okay.
If you're from New York, you know why. I mean, that guy's just, his contributions to hip hop is crazy. DJ Kid Capri, that dude just rock parties all over. And DJ Clue.
Okay.
DJ Clue in the 90s was really big.
That's what's up. So for me, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Jam Master J, local guy here, Def Jam Blaster.
That sounds like a local cat, don't it? Def Jam Blaster. I like that. I love those names.
How you gonna call yourself Def Jam Blaster?
No, that's dope though, man. That's a name like he been DJing for a while. He ain't new. That's dope. I like
it. He has.
Here's
the funny thing. Down, it's weird because with being in the South, particularly in Texas,
for sure,
the MCs, the DJs, and all that, they don't really have to do a lot of touring outside of the state. Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee.
For sure.
They get it back. So
that's their own.
It is what it is. But I really enjoyed Def Jam Blaster because he incorporated a lot of bounce in his mixes and that kind of thing. New Orleans bounce. He gets the party hype. I'll say it like that. I want to do a West Coast DJ. This is old school here. DJ Aladdin.
Hey, listen, from Low Profile, man, listen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nice. Super nice. He won like the DMC at one point? He won the DMC. He won like the World Seminar. He won a World Seminar.
Yeah, I think he did. But yeah, DJ Aladdin. And my last one is like I said, a local cat. But he's not local. I mean, he's worldwide known, right. But when he was doing his thing, he was local. And that was DJ Screw.
Yeah.
So anybody can take the pitch of a record and slow it down and scratch and mix, and now you got the whole world doing that type of stuff. Yeah, yeah. But no, he was one of the best. Um, and it's funny too because they're literally like 300, 350 screw tapes, and when they were putting them out, when he was putting them out, I should say, it was you had to be somebody to get those tapes.
Yeah.
You couldn't just be a local cat. You couldn't go into a store and buy them.
Right.
Screw used to sell his stuff out of his house, and he was making so much cash that he had the feds ran up on him. Same thing happened with DJ Drama or whatever.
Right.
But I mean, that dude was getting all kind of crazy money. But those are my favorite DJs. But
And
now let's get to produce.
Hey, Rich, let me add real quick too. I got to add my man DJ Doo-Wop because he was the first one to put MCs all on one mixtape. Like, even though Tony Touch was doing the 50 MCs, Doo-Wop was the first person just to have like multiple cats in the studio and just recording over joints and then just going. So I gotta give that to Doo-Wop from the Diaz brothers. He'll be here next week, by the way. That's my guy. So I just want, I gotta give him his props too.
All right, shout out to him. So let's get to producers now. This is gonna be interesting. Y'all think the MCs and the DJ stuff was hard, Paul. Who's your favorite producers?
No particular order. Again, I would be remiss, being from New York, to not say Diddy.
Okay.
Because the Bad Boy sound, incorporating soul music into hip hop. Mary J. Blige, he deserves credit for that. No matter what you may think about Diddy personally, he deserves credit for that Bad Boy sound because it changed hip hop.
Okay.
Another one, Luke Campbell, Uncle Luke.
Wow.
Oh wow! I saw you down in Miami.
Look, let me tell you. You say Miami, but his influence was really over Southern hip hop.
For sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He created that whole Southern hip hop sound, which extended all the way up to Atlanta with Little John. He launched a lot of careers off of his sound, and helped personally build the careers of a lot of artists. Another one, the Bomb Squad.
Yes, sir. Hank Shocklee in there.
Yes, sir. Between Public Enemy, Ice Cube's first few albums, Bomb Squad, those guys, that sound is so damn unique.
Right.
The skits, the cut ins, the transitions from song to song.
And some of that stuff was manual too. Like some of that stuff wasn't even synced up. Like some of that was them literally tapping it out on the machines, like right then and there.
Yeah, this is before we had digital computers to do all that stuff.
I mean, you still were able to do it, but they just did certain things manually, I guess, to give it that swing. And it was just they were just masters of their craft.
Right. Next one, I gotta give it to my boy RZA for Wu-Tang. Created that Wu-Tang sound, which set off the careers of a whole bunch of artists.
Right.
But it's very unique. And last one, I just give it up to my boy Primo.
Yeah.
DJ Premier.
DJ Premier.
Not just as a DJ, but as a, he's done a lot of production, a lot of different artists over the years.
That's what's up. What about you, Phil? Producers.
Number one is Marley Marl. Without Marley Marl, we don't have
true
hip hop the way it sounds now. Like he was literally the first person to chop up drums. Like his record sounded so different than everybody else's because he was the first person to actually take the kick, the hi-hat, and the snare and drop them over individual pads and chop them up. So he was ahead of the game. And if you look at he's responsible for the greatest crew of all time. We could argue this all day. There's no crew greater than the Juice Crew. The Juice Crew had Kane, Stan, Biz, Dante, Cool G Rap, Master Ace, Craig G, TJ Swan, I said Shan second. I said Shan second. That's Shan's my guy,
Okay.
even though he be tripping online. But Marley Marl was just one of you listen to them that first Kane album, that first Biz album, that first Cool G Rap album, like that. Them records are timeless in the way they sound. They're just so big. When LL quote unquote fell off, but he really didn't. Molly Marl did the whole Mama Said Knock You Out album and put him in a whole stratosphere. So, and people talk about these other groups and crews. None of them cats is touching the Juice Crew. The Juice Crew was the crew that everybody wanted to go at because they had two of the top MCs of all time. When you talk about back then, when we said who were the best MCs, we always said who? Rakim, Kane, Cool G Rap, and KRS-One, right? Two of them was in the Juice Crew. Kane, Cool G Rap. And when KRS-One dissed Juice Crew, he was very specific to not mention certain people's names, which was G Rap and Kane. But moving on, I get excited once, and I met Molly. Molly Marl's like my hero. He's one that made me want to produce.
Yeah.
So then we got Premier. It's not even up for debate. We got Premier. We got Jay Dilla. Rest in peace. My man from out of Detroit, tall black guy. And then, then we go into either like Knots, Battle Cat, or Alchemist.
Okay.
And I'm just, then we get into that. And Diamond D. So that's where,
you're going beyond 5. You're going beyond 5.
Sorry, man. I get excited.
Because I forgot to mention Dr. Dre, which I can't figure out how they didn't mention Dr. Dre.
So Dre, my only issue with Dre is that some of them beats Dre didn't do. That Dre gets a lot of those beats on them records Dre did not do that people say Dre produced. And I'm not trying to throw shade because Dre's one of the greatest of all time. When we're talking production actually in the studio, some of that was Mailman, who's from Pittsburgh. Some of that was High Tech. Some of that was Scott Storch. Some of that was we could go on and on and on, but I digress. But still, Dre does deserve it, not as producer, but not as touching machines in certain aspects. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just smashing people's dreams left and right,
man. Nah. I think it's all good. So for me, producing, it's Dilla.
Yes,
of course. Sir. There is Dre. Now, I will say there is Ruthless Dre, and then there's Aftermath Dre or Death Row Dre.
There you go.
Now,
there you go.
Ruthless Dre is all Dre. So we have to give him. And I get when everybody said, well, he did this, person did this. I get that. I do. But all that Ruthless stuff, that was all Dre. So
that's Dre.
I mean, he gets props just for the Ruthless stuff. I mean, the guy's had an amazing career. But when I the Aftermath stuff and the Death Row stuff, it was good. But those first few years of Ruthless records, that's Dre's fingerprint all over that. So
who's responsible for the G-Funk sound then?
Who's responsible for it?
Yeah.
I mean, to me, if we want, he's stopping me in the middle of my production stuff. If we want to be honest, if he took it there, if we want to be honest, we got to get at the Warren G.
Warren G. Okay.
We got to get at the Warren G.
Or Eric Sherman.
Being honest. Eric Sherman. Who was doing West Coast? Who was doing West Coast records? All of that zap, all that funk, all that
EPMD's
was
funk samples. EPMD's funk samples.
Yes. Absolutely. So, now as far as other producers, I got an old school one for you. Larry Smith.
Come on, man.
Larry Smith. We about
to put the Houdini records out, boy. Man.
Larry Smith. You talk about the Houdini records, you talk about the Run DMC records.
Man.
That boom, tap, tap. Just all that was all Larry Smith. I mean, people talk about boom bap. I love boom bap, but I mean, you can't even talk about boom bap until you put on a Run DMC or a Houdini record. But yeah, that he's my number 3. And of course, a Texas guy, but he got all his shine out there on the East Coast. DJ Premier.
Premier.
You know, Premier went to Prairie
View.
Prairie View.
Yeah,
Prairie View A&M University. Worked in record stores in Houston. I bought records personally from DJ Premier. So this is back in the gap. So yeah. And my last this is my last producer, one of the coldest in the game. Nobody talks about him until his name gets brought up. And he's rubbed shoulders with all the heavyweights. And that's Mike Dean. Coldest white boy ever.
Okay.
Mike Dean.
Okay.
So, you know,
these some
he
good
gets
lists.
a lot of shine for working. He gets a lot of shine for working with Kanye, but Mike Dean is almost responsible for nearly half of Rap-A-Lot's catalog.
Right.
That dude been putting in work a long time.
Right.
All those early Face records. Face was working right there with Mike Dean.
Right.
You know, but those are my producers. There's a whole lot more. He says, and if you call out Dre, you damn well better call out Diddy because he had a team of producers.
Yeah, but I'll answer. I think the difference with that is that it's not calling out anybody. We're just talking about when we're talking about producers. When we understand what production means. Production can have multiple people in the studio at one particular point in time. But I'm sure the three of us were talking about one individual working on a record. Like when you pointed out Ruthless Dre versus whatever, it's not a diss towards Dre by any stretch of the imagination. He's one of the greatest that's ever done it. But when we're talking about somebody that's sitting there tapping it out, that's what we're talking about. Everybody knows Diddy has people that come in. That was part of his thing. So there's different variables in this. Like it's not a diss to anybody. Dre's a genius and he knows what he's doing. Just getting certain people in the studio is something that a lot of people can't do because of their ego, you know. So it's that, you know, just to clear that up, it's not calling anybody out. It's just, you know, we're just kind of stating the facts and the differences between production styles, if that makes sense, or production variables.
You know what? Absolutely. You know, it's interesting too. We were talking before we got on screen, guys. We were talking about the Biz Markie documentary, and actually, it is Marley Marl who points out certain things about production. I think some people called into question some of the stuff that he was doing. He was like, "Well, yeah, I do this, or they may do this, or whatever." But to actually, to your point, Phil, to punch this out, that's a different thing. You know, just because you make a beat don't make you a producer. You can get producer credits, but that don't necessarily mean that you know how to put a record together. I will give a number six for his producer, and he doesn't get enough credit. And he was in that. He was around Dre, and that's DJ Quick.
For sure.
Some of DJ Quick's music is very, very, very melodic, very good, very good. I don't think he gets enough as full as, you know, general, you know, on the West Coast he gets a lot of love or whatever, but you know, overall I don't think he gets enough credit for some of the stuff that he did. But that's enough about the music. So let's get to, you know, our main thing tonight, which is why comics and hip hop, and why hip hop and comics. So I want to just start by saying that initially I wanted to do this this type of show because, you know, hip hop and comic books kind of go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Okay.
You know, if you're reading a dope comic book, you got something knocking in the background while you're reading it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the perfect mix. It just goes together. And you know, hip hop and comics have been really are joined at the hip. You know, how many people remember the Sugar Hill Gang song? The first one, Rapper's Delight. You know what I'm saying? When Big Bang Hank called out Superman, called him a fairy. But you can go back that far and just to see, you know, hip hop's humble beginnings and along with comic books, because comics are part of the pop culture, and hip hop certainly is. I remember reading something or hearing someone say that hip hop did not invent anything, but that it reinvented everything. So, you know, it would just be natural for hip hop and comic books to kind of go together.
Well,
so
when we're talking,
let's talk, guys. Go ahead.
Let's say when we're talking about hip hop, What are we talking about? It's not just rapping, it's emceeing, it's breakdancing, it's also graffiti, right? It's about
Right.
knowledge as well. The
Come
five
on
pillars,
now.
your 5 pillars of hip hop. And that graffiti art, that art style, a lot of it was very much influenced from comic books. I mean, we
Sure
keep
was.
forgetting that. There's a direct tie
Right.
between hip hop culture and comic books because one of the 5 pillars of hip hop is graffiti art,
Right.
which is directly
Right.
influenced by comic books. Um, I can only speak about like my own experience, as a youth, um, which I think emulates a lot of others. Because I'm from New York, and how I got into comics was going to my local bodega and getting them off the spinner rack, which is I think a lot of kids back in the 70s and 80s did that. And I remember hearing Rapper's Delight on the radio for the first time, you know, in New York. Um, that's one of the reasons why I always sort of identified with the Wu-Tang Clan, right? Because these cats in their music did everything that I was into, right? With the kung fu flicks, the comic book references, and hip hop. You mixed it all together. I'm like, that's my entire youth right there.
Mm.
It's all tied together. I think a lot of urban youth, as they say, grew up with, you know, comics and hip hop, and all this is just part of that culture of being a young black youth in urban settings. So I think it's a natural paradigm that mixes together. It's part
And,
of the culture.
and I I feel like too with the we were talking about the correlation between the comics and the music. You know, you look at what was the stuff the Cheech Wizard books back in the day. There were so many
Mhm.
early graffiti pieces that directly copied his style with his characters and the covers and things of that nature. So you know, the correlation between hip hop and comics is undeniable, especially when it comes from the graffiti aspect. But y'all get a chance, y'all look up Cheat Wizard, and you'll see the character that has like the feet, but it's like a hat, and they got the stars. That's if that's not graffiti all day, every graffiti artist used to draw that character at one point in time, and the style with the
Mm.
women and things of that nature. So it's it's undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You brought up Paul. You brought up the Wu-Tang Clan, right? And we know that um, Method Man is largely responsible for them to incorporate comics
Method
into
Man,
their
aka um um the
Johnny
Iron
Blaze.
Lung,
Johnny Blaze.
aka Johnny Blaze, aka the Ghost Rider.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and it's funny to me because he just came out recently, of course, and said that he wants to play Bishop. And I think that would be cool if he gets the opportunity to do that. Um, you know, I mean, comics in general. Let's just be honest. We talk about Marvel, right, which is housed right there in New York City. It's no coincidence
For
that
sure.
what I'm saying, that Marvel is in New York City, the birthplace of hip hop. That this would not, at some point, its tentacles would not reach the corporate offices at Marvel. So much so that you think about Spider-Man, right? And how Spider-Man, this white kid from Queens named Peter Parker, seems pretty believable enough, right? But then Bendis comes around and he turns it on its ear and gives us Miles Morales, a black Puerto Rican kid from Brooklyn. Or is he from? He's from Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
So how imagine imagine for a moment, and I know this is kind of hard because we comic heads. Imagine for a moment that there was no Peter Parker. That all we would have is Miles Morales. That he would be Spider-Man. I know that's kind of hard for a lot of us because we got a ton of Peter Parker books in our collections. But I mean, it's literally a natural fit, right? And he's a hip hop head. You know what I'm saying? the guy sells more merch than anything. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time anybody bought a Peter Parker Spider-Man shirt or even thought about it? But when it comes down to Miles Morales, somebody put up in our group a picture of, I guess it was a sketch of Miles Morales from the movie Into the Spider-Verse or Beyond the Spider-Verse. And that thing was fire, bro. It was a 9.8 and it was signed and it was a sketch. And I'm like, that's gonna go for major dough when that does. But you know, it's just I just bring that up because it's all a natural fit. To your point, Paul, about this being part of the elements of hip hop, the graffiti aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Naturally, it just goes together. So let's talk about our favorite covers, hip hop covers. There's a lot of them. And when I first thought about this, here, let me be honest with you. I didn't think that there was a lot of hip hop covers. I say it's a few.
Tons.
I started really thinking about it. It's a ton. And we're gonna get to Marvel stuff later. But let's, if you don't mind, Derek, pull up some of the covers, some of the hip hop favorite covers. And guys, for those that want, you can go to our Facebook group, and you can. There is a post there where it asks us to, post your favorite hip hop comic book cover. And yeah, there's the link right there. You can go there and you can post your favorite. But this one here, Bitterroot, which is an homage to Beach Street. And since we're talking hip hop, let me just say this about Melly Mel.
Go ahead.
Who should be on everybody, in my opinion, everybody's top 5 list.
Right.
From the standpoint of this.
Greatest
and verse. I tell people, give me the Beach Street breakdown.
Man.
That whole song. It was prophetic.
Wasn't it?
In the sense that at the very end of the song, he says, and don't be a slave to no computer.
Come on, preacher. Come on, preacher.
When did this song come out?
Hey.
I mean, bro, I tell people, I say, give me, if you want to put that song up against any other song, Mel goes off.
That and the message. Those are probably the 2 greatest verses ever. Yeah. Ever. 2 greatest verses ever.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
Preacher,
but I
Preacher
love
Rich, I knew you was gonna say the don't be a slave to no computer. Because I remember when I first heard that as a kid, I was like, oh, he's killing it. But as you got older, you're like, man, this means something. This means something. It means something. Yeah. So
yeah,
Yeah,
he broke it down. I mean that, and again, I think I've heard people say all kind of stuff about Mel, and and recently he just went at Eminem for no reason at all. Right. But that's another story. But that there's no denying his we talked earlier, like I said, off screen about people moving the needle. Mel was one of them dudes that moved the needle. And let me not forget Grandmaster Flash. You know what I'm saying? Incredible DJ as well. But yeah, that cover there when they did that. Do you guys have that? I don't even have that. I don't even have that cover.
I have it.
I have it. Yeah.
That's in my top 5 hip hop covers ever. It's just because of the Beat Street.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. What else we got, Derek? What else we got? Let's see what else we got.
Oh, that's me.
There you go.
I guess so. This right
who's
here.
that in front of you, Phil?
That's the God MC Rakim. So on this particular day, and Rakim makes everybody's top 5 list, regardless. If he don't, you need to check your record collection.
Facts.
So I've met Rakim on several different occasions, but on this particular occasion, he was at the Andy Warhol Museum, and he had a book. So while he was doing book signings, I'm DJing for the book signing or whatever. There's no way I'm letting Rakim lead the stage. We're not about to do some Rakim joints. So he gets up like he's getting ready to go. I just start throwing on joints, and we did an impromptu performance. And I apologize because he wasn't paid to do that, but my peoples brought him in. I'm like, come on, Rob. I just start throwing on records, man. And he's an MC, and he just went for it. But I was respectful. And I had etiquette. I didn't do a half-hour joint. We did like 10 minutes. We did like 4 joints, first verse, chorus, and went. And I'm just blessed to have been able to say, I've spun for Rakim. But that day, my homeboy Ed Pisker created that comic book called Hip Hop Family Tree, and this is the Rakim cover. So I went to Rakim and I had him sign mines. And when he signed it, he had said something like he didn't even know about this particular cover was out. So it was actually his first time seeing it. And
Wow.
that was, that was a dope moment, for me. And he signed that, and he signed a couple of records for me as well. We'll get into that later. But
so he didn't even know that was there.
That's what he said. I mean, I thought he had he was like, when he looked at it, he was like, oh wow, this is crazy, And actually, he was there with my man Paradise from X Clan, and Paradise is one of everybody's top MCs. Paradise gave them their first show. Paradise stays here in Pittsburgh now. That's my OG. He has a TV show now with him and Pete Nice called where they go and see all the different artifacts. I don't know if y'all seen it, like LL's on the show and Ice-T's on the show, and they're just getting items for the Hip Hop Museum, who I helped put some of the items up in the Hip Hop Museum myself. But this book right here is sentimental because Rakim signed it and a friend of mine actually drew it. So there we go.
That's what's up, man. All right, let's go. Let's go. What else we got? All right. This book here, I do have this book in my collection, Apocalypse 91. Yeah. Chuck D, we know him, and he's an amazing MC. He also is an artist. And right. He's done, recently he did he was doing covers for Rogue State. That's a independent title that he's done in the last few issues. So, but this particular graphic novel, it's a pretty dope graphic novel. And Chuck D doesn't get the love I feel like he probably deserves. He probably gets a lot of love, but I feel like he should get more love. Anybody can put up with Flavor Flav. and still maintain their character and all that, because I remember seeing Public Enemy. It really wasn't even Public Enemy. It was really Chuck D.
Right.
Public Enemy came to Houston, right? Mm-hmm. And Flav wasn't there. But Chuck always used to do making, performing without Flavor Flav. Like when you go see Public Enemy, you want the whole show. You want the S1W. You want You want Terminator Mix, and you just want the whole bang. But I've seen Chuck.
911 is a joke.
Yeah, but I had to watch a Public Enemy quote unquote show featuring Chuck D, and that's fine. I'm saying he's the rhyme animal. I remember the first time I heard not Take a Nation of Millions, but when I first heard the first album, it was an album. It was dated. It was dated. Yo Bum Rush the Show. I remember hearing for the very first time, and I'm like, "What is this?" And this dude with this deep voice, and suckers don't, can't mess with a 98. You're gonna get you and all of that, And so I was just like, okay, this is cool. And then I heard Rebel Without a Pause.
Come on, man. That rocked all summer. All summer. Woo! Woo! I remember when that came up, boy.
That was, that was like, what in the world? We had never heard a song be so dope and annoying at the same time. It was like literal war cry.
It was
so amazing.
I don't think it's an understatement for me to say that those two albums, Yo Bum Rush the Show, and It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, changed my life.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I can't even. That's not even an overstatement. That's not even hyperbole. at the time, I had already moved to Florida.
Okay.
And, you know, living in the Orlando area, there's no hip hop. There was no hip hop.
Okay.
Like nothing. Like the only time I remember actually asking my cousin in New York to send me mixtapes so I know what was hot. Right.
Mm.
You know, the first place I actually heard Public Enemy was in England. I went to England one summer, and it was actually British kids that introduced me to Public Enemy. And that was the first time I heard them. And the entire stay I was there, I listened to that tape constantly because I could not understand how incredibly revolutionary this sound, these lyrics were.
Right.
I mean, the references to Malcolm X, COINTELPRO programs, like stuff you didn't. There's no way the kids today would even know about, you know. But you were learning. Chuck was educating people
for sure.
You know what's funny though? You know what's funny though, Paul? My favorite Public Enemy song is not a conscious song. It's not even a song on the regular albums. My favorite Public Enemy song is Air Hoodlum. And it's got the Check the Elevation sample in it. And it flavors of Air Hoodlum. It's on the album called Greatest Misses.
Hey, the Greatest Misses tape was hard though. Greatest Misses was fresh. It was.
And you know, it's just that to those albums that you talked about, Paul, you know, I love those albums. To me, Take a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, in my opinion, is the most complete hip hop album.
Most important ever.
I love.
Oh, well, that brings up our next top 5.
It does. Let's go.
Top 5 hip hop albums of all time.
Yeah, you see now you done started something.
Now it done started something.
So I remember seeing Public Enemy. I saw Public Enemy back in their heyday. So I remember seeing them with the S1Ws, you know, stepping across the stage and Flavor Flav jumping off the giant speakers and the explosions and it was unreal. You were so hyped, but you felt empowered. Yeah. And you didn't want to be, I'm gonna keep it 100. You didn't want to be a dummy. You didn't want to go out and do nothing goofy afterwards. You want to hold yourself in a certain regard after you've seen Public Enemy, man, because they were all about respect and regardless how you felt about Farrakhan. They talked about Farrakhan. They talked about Martin. They talked about Malcolm, Jesse. I mean, it was just so strong. Like you felt and hip hop made you feel good about the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we being 100, NWA was created to be the anti-Public Enemy, but that's another conversation for another day.
Pretty much, that's pretty much it in a nutshell, Phil. It was all downhill after that. But anyway, let's go to the next slide.
I don't think I forgot about the top 5 hip hop albums of all time.
Yeah, that's a great one.
We'll get to it. So what we got here? What's that? Ray Shremmett, Shadow Man cover.
Ray Smurder.
Yeah, I mean I brought this up because they were a popular group back in the day. For a minute.
Back in the day.
A couple years ago. A couple years ago.
We're talking like, the 2010s or the early 2000s, whatever.
We old, man, so 10 years feel like it was 2 years ago.
Exactly.
This comic book, the two brothers that make up the group in the comic book, they basically make a Faustian deal with the devil to get popular, and they got to deal with Shadow Man. And that's kind of the book in a nutshell. But this is one of those instances where hip hop artists are directly involved in the comic book. It's not just a cover. They're actually characters in the book as well. So that's something that you see less of when we're talking about in this particular subject.
What's that other one, Paul? The one next to it, Alfred. What is that?
Alfredo. That I think I was one of Phil brought up.
So that's from one of my favorite albums of all time. Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist had an album that was actually nominated for a Grammy a couple years ago, and that book was just super dope. Artwork was by Mike Del Mundo, and it's just it was just, for me. It was like that was one of those books where the artist had direct, contributions to the comic. Like him and the Alchemist are actually in the comic. They help with the story, and Del Mundo was one of their homies, aka Deadly Mike, and they put that book out, and it's a book that goes for like $100, and it was only available, through their website and that type of deal.
Okay, that's what's up. We get going. Okay, this one here. Shout out to Kid and Play, man.
Yes, sir.
Kid and Play was getting up. They were getting to the bag. They had a cartoon. They had merch, and they were one of the first hip hop groups to have a Marvel comic.
Yeah.
I found this comic in a dollar bin 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought one that
don't cost $1 now.
No, so I got a 9.4 of it. I don't have a high grade one. I mean that's nothing to sneeze at, but I got it at the con up here. Somebody had it for like $40. I couldn't let it sit on the shelf, so I said, "Let me go and grab this 9.4." I do want a 9.8 though. I really want a 9.8. Yeah, but that's what we got. It's newsstand too.
That's what's up.
Lord.
Okay. I like how Phil just put that out there. It's not a high grade, but it's a 9.4.
Well, I mean, because I'll be honest, because
Stranger Comics.
They do a lot. They do a lot of covers.
A lot.
Go ahead, bro.
They do a lot of covers. They do a lot of dope. I like their Tribe covers a lot.
Shout out to Sebastian.
Definitely do. They definitely put in work.
Now you talked about you talk about groups or albums as far as top 5 albums. We won't talk top 5 albums, but I will say that Midnight Marauders is probably top 5.
Probably? Probably? Did you just say the word probably?
I'm just saying. I'm not
that's
saying.
Like saying Rakim, that's like saying Rakim may probably be in the top 5 MCs of all time.
I'm just saying, bro. Everybody don't necessarily rock with Tribe like that.
Then not everybody.
Somebody.
Tribe is universal, man.
Yeah, somebody in the chat probably thinks Griselda is top 5.
Hold on now. I like Griselda now. I like Griselda too. But I got to give it to Tribe though. Them Tribe records is crazy. Unreal. Unreal.
Yeah, they are. Did you I know you got a chance to hear the last one, the Thanks for Having Me Here, or what, I can't think of the name of it. The one they just recently put out.
Yes. I know what you're talking about. God.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shout out to Phife Dawg, may rest in peace. Man, that they had that group was amazing. I gotta say, I loved that first album. I remember when I first heard I Left My Wallet in El Segundo.
Yeah.
Right.
I thought this was that's the second one.
No, I said, the second and third albums.
What's the first one?
That's the first People's Instinctive Travels.
Yeah. The second was Low End Theory. The third one
Left My Wallet in El Segundo from the first album.
Yes, correct. Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, they all were dope. But I remember hearing Left My Wallet in El Segundo, and I thought how crazy that was. That song, we talk about, stories or whatever, and getting in the car and then driving all the way to El Segundo. I mean, it's just something that you would probably, as a kid, you hanging out with your buddies and you do stuff like that. You don't go that far with it, but I mean, I just think that was an amazing song, man.
Yeah,
Q-Tip is low key underrated.
producer too,
one of the best producers for sure.
for sure. The first time I heard
Yeah.
Q-Tip was on a Jungle Brothers album, Black is Black, in that song called The Promo. That's the first time I heard Q-Tip. Somebody just put in the chat, I didn't like the low end theory. Please block them. Block that person.
Who put that? Who put
Man,
that?
anybody who said that, man, whoever said that, man, their opinion does not count. I can't eat nothing over their house. Man, get out of here with that, man. That's ridiculous.
Frustrating. You might have to get banned from this
Man,
particular video.
get whoever that is out of here, Jack. That's crazy.
That's blasphemy.
Yeah.
Like, like for instance,
listen. Now, I'm listen. I'm gonna defend my brother's right to say something crazy.
man, get out of here.
I can't defend that.
Out of
I
here,
can't defend
man.
that.
That's like saying you don't like Rakim or you think Karis wants man.
Can we please just do the top 5 albums? Y'all scared. Y'all scared.
I
ain't scared.
Why y'all scared?
I'm not scared of that conversation. Now, are we talking about your favorites? Or are we talking about period? Top 5 period. Are we talking about top favorites?
Mix them up.
5 period.
Okay.
All right, Paul. Since you instigated this, go ahead. What's your top 5 albums?
No particular order. I already mentioned this one. It takes a nation of millions to hold us back.
For sure.
Yep.
Next one, 36 Chambers.
We come on with it.
Next one is a tie. Let me skip that one.
You can't say tie versus no particular order.
Next one is Raising Hell, Run DMC. That was one of the first. That was probably the first mainstream hip hop, the first hip hop album to blow up big mainstream wise.
Okay. Because it wasn't mainstream at first; it just happened to cross over.
Once they did that Walk This Way, there's a whole bunch of suburban youth that are like, "What's this hip hop thing?" and learned who Run DMC was. So that it's a significant album because that album blew up off of becoming off of that Walk This Way crossover.
And it brought Aerosmith back because Aerosmith
resurrected Aerosmith's career.
For sure.
Probably one that doesn't get enough due, as far as I'm concerned. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
That's a complete album. That's one that I could have on 8-track and listen to and be cool.
Right.
And
she's
finally,
a top MC too.
Huh?
She's a top MC also.
She is a top MC. She doesn't get recognized enough for that.
For sure.
As I said, my last one's a tie. Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders.
That's fair.
That's a debate. Which one's the better album? But yeah, those two I consider basically one album. Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders. That's my top 5.
Phil, you want to dump into these murky waters?
Yeah, I'll go into it. I'm gonna go. Nation of Millions is the most important hip hop album ever. So that's not even gonna be in my 5. That's like in a totally different echelon. Illmatic.
All right.
Jungle Brothers, Straight Out the Jungle.
Oh, that's different.
Wow.
Oh no, that's real. That's an album now. That's an album.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm stalling.
I know you are.
Ultramagnetic MC's first album.
UMC's, okay.
Wow.
No, Ultramagnetic, not UMC's. Ultramagnetic MC's.
Ultramagnetic MC's.
Long Live the Kane. Big Daddy Kane. 36 Chambers. And there's just so many. But I'm gonna go the Mobb Deep album with Shook Ones on it.
Wow, I'm surprised you were able to do that.
Quickly. And my bad. Regardless, the Purple Tape makes it. Purple Tape is in there, and that's that Raekwon and Ghostface. That's one of the greatest albums ever. Might be better than 36 Chambers. Ooh.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. Top 5 albums. This guy here, Paul. First Run DMC album. Nation of Millions, Public Enemy. There Is a Dark Side by Redman.
Nice.
All Means Necessary, Boogie Down Productions.
Okay.
Number 5, the DOC, No One Can Do It Better.
I like that.
Wow.
I think that album is a complete crazy West Coast, that's Ruthless Dre album. And an honorable mention would be Scarface's The Untouchable.
Nice.
Yeah.
But you know what, too? I'm sorry, I got to go backtrack. I'm gonna also say Gangstar's catalog as a whole.
Yes, sir.
As one unit, because that's one record. That's one record.
I'll take it a step further for you, Phil. Gangstar's greatest album, their double CD,
best album ever. Done.
That's something you can listen to all day,
man. All for the cash.
Well, wait a minute now. Hold on now. I would say Step in the Arena is probably the best one of all the Gangstar albums.
But when he said
best,
then
you can also go. Then you can also go to the Jazzmatazz stuff. The first Jazzmatazz album, the first 2 Jazzmatazz albums are pretty dope. Yeah.
But that whole Gangstar Foundation catalog, if you put that all together as one thing, it's a wrap.
That's why I said that greatest hits album, the double CD when they did.
It's a wrap.
It had all that in there.
Yeah.
Gifted, Unlimited, Rhymes Universal. Shout out to Rest in Peace to Guru.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace, Guru.
All right, let's get back to these comic book covers.
Okay.
So this particular book here, Rapid Max Robot, is credited as the first hip hop comic book.
For real?
My man DJ Phil was talk about this comic book, Phil.
So this is the very first one. It's not even up for debate. If you go online and look for it, it's so expensive. I've tried to find some under the radar, but it's one of those books. It's like an Eben almost. How Eben is one of those books that is an anomaly. Only a few people have them. Rapid Max Robot is one of them. But I was blessed to get one from. I call her my manager, Monica Malik. Gave me one for. She gave me like a. She went to the Hip Hop Museum. And either the Hip Hop Museum or the Jay-Z thing, I forget which one it was. I'm gonna say the Hip Hop Museum, and they had some for sale. Obviously, it's not the original, but it was just a very thoughtful gift for her to give me one. And the artist did sign it, as you can see, it was signed. So I have one, and I'm gonna keep that, and I'm still gonna try to get an original, but I'm gonna keep them both, and they both have the same sentimental value to me. But it's a crazy book, Rapid Max Robot. It was done by a graffiti artist.
All right, so that's what year is it? Is that 1986? June of 1986?
86. Yes, sir. 86.
86.
Mm-hmm. That was the year I came out. That was my graduation year.
And there's actually 2. I think there's 2 versions. There's a Rapid Max Robot 1 and there's a 2. And it's not like a regular comic book. They kind of like fold. It kind of like folds out, I believe, if I'm correct.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just a little bit different. Yeah.
Okay, that's what's up. So let's go to our next slide. Brother Man. In the 90s, golden age of hip hop, of course, is the 90s, is what some would say.
Best age of hip hop.
That's debatable. Some of Drake's children may say something different, but yeah. But anyway, Brother Man, Dictator of Discipline. Very fun read book. Hip hop for sure. Graffiti style. Guy Sims and the crew at Big City Comics did their thing. They were selling this book literally out of the trunk and at Black Expo. I gotta say, if it's one thing that Black community is missing these days, it is the Black Expo. Right. Phil, could you imagine what you could do with your stuff? We're gonna be talking about it a bit later on. My man is putting together a showcase and things of that nature. Well, what you could do, man, at a Black Expo, bro. This is how Brother Man got off the ground. I mean, they got together and sold these books. at a Black Expo. Black Expo basically was like a convention where Black entrepreneurs and business leaders would get together and they would, network and share and that kind of thing. And that's how Brother Man got sold. Wasn't sold in a comic book store.
Right.
Wasn't sold, online. It wasn't no online market. They sold these straight out the trunk. So anytime you come across a Brother Man comic, I know some people frown on the third print or whatever. If you got Brother Man #1, period, that's an important book. Correct. Because it was an independent book, and I don't think no one was doing it at the level that Big City Comics were doing it at the time. There are a lot of comic book companies that came out, whether we're talking about Naya, whether we're talking about Omega 7, whatnot, that were doing things like that, but I don't think nobody had the reach that Brother Man had, straight out the trunk. And that book next to it, Hip Hop Family Tree, Phil talked about the cover that had Eric B. and Rakim on it, but that's an important book too, because that's a series of books talking about the history of hip hop and how it all got laid out. And so, you want to pick these books up if you can, guys. Whether you see them in the wild, pick them up. I don't know if you're gonna get that Brother Man #1 in the wild like that. I think everybody know the deal on that book. So, but if you can find these in the wild, you should pick these up. So, what are you guys' thoughts about Brother Man?
I think it's a dope book. I think the artwork was really dope. I don't have one in my collection. I lost it in the fire that I had a while ago, but it's a book that I probably do need to get back in my collection.
Yeah, the art, when we talk about, graffiti being one of the 5 pillars of hip hop and how graffiti art was influenced by comic books, it's like art sort of imitating art, because Brother Man's art style was very graffiti like. It is hip hop. I mean, the style of the art reminds me, thematically, it's hip hop. Very much so.
Absolutely. And that book is put out, like I said, that book is literally over 30 years ago. Shout out to our brothers over at Blurred Core. That's really their symbol or their logo reflects Brother Man. So, salute to those guys over there. This is Peace. Where can I find the Hip Hop Family Tree books?
They're in all your LCSs.
Yeah, you should be able to pick them up. They can order them for sure.
Yeah,
you can get them in hardcover. You can get them in hardcover, but if you can find the raw copies in the wild, grab them. But yeah, you should be able to get that, and your LCS should be able to get that. Minus is has anyone checked how accurate Family Tree?
So the guy who puts the book together is a personal friend of mine, and I'll put it to you like this: there's been a lot of hip hop artists who have bought original pages and have commended him on him doing his research. He's a good cat, and of course, certain things are going to be embellished, but all of his things are referenced from stories that are being told in hip hop. So he's not making up anything as he's gone along. So there hasn't been anybody that's come forward and said, "Oh man, this story's crazy. This isn't real." I mean, I think the Hip Hop Family Tree is an important book, and it's about as real and as authentic as it gets when it comes to telling that story.
While we're there, I want to just plug a book real quick. There's a hip hop book called The Come Up by Jonathan Abrams.
Okay.
You make me big here. And this is basically an oral story about hip hop. All of the people that we know from the beginnings of hip hop, the history of hip hop itself. They basically tell all of this is like in their own words. Basically, you're going to get like paragraphs of people talking about how the music started, how these were poor kids just trying to find something to do. The humble beginnings of hip hop. So I think you should pick this up and get it. I actually grabbed it, read it. I have to take it back because I got it at a library, but I am going to go buy one for my collection. So yeah, pick that up for sure. Let's get back to these books. Just wanted to plug that, man. Go to the next slide, Derek. Okay, so if you are a Milestone fan, if you are a Static fan, you should have this book in your collection.
I do.
Yes, sir.
Now, I won't stop and be like my man Phil saying I'm not a black comic book collector because I don't have Fantastic Four 52 in my
52. 52. Get the number right. See, you about to mess up. You about to mess up. He said 40, 11. He said 40, 11.
I was trying to be. I was shading a little bit, little shade. No, but if you are a Static fan, you should have this book in your collection. This is Static, Rolling with the Lost Boys. This is not a cheap book,
No.
but you can get this book for about $40 right now.
Right.
It used to go for a little bit more bread. Since the market is kind of down, you can get it. It's a little bit more affordable, but it's just not out there sitting out there in the wild. You have to hit the eBay machine a lot of times, a Macari or some other honey holes to try to find this book. You should have this book in the collection. It's one of the I would say iconic Static covers. This is the first where we see a hip hop group featured on the cover of a major comic book.
Right.
I can't think of any other groups. You know any other groups that have been in books? Or
That's the first.
Many books?
That's the first.
Okay, that's what's up. So yes, but that book there is a great book. I'm happy I have that book in my collection, and it's just a cool cover, man. It's just a cool cover. So shout out to Milestone, man. I don't know what they're doing over there at Milestone right now, but man, God, dog, y'all come on, y'all get it together. That's all I'm saying. Y'all get it together.
You say that every week, man.
I'm just saying, bro. You just need them to get it together. Listen. There is a tidal wave coming. This is Real Talk with Rich. Let me go on and say this. There is a tidal wave coming, and you could be caught up on the top or the muddy undertow. These independent creators that are really doing things. Where we're talking about Godhood, Advent, Concrete. These guys making moves. And I put a post up in the group saying that Marvel and DC time is up, and it is. And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna say this on my show. Marvel and DC need to be taken down a peg to get back to the foundation of what made them the big two in the first place. I just feel like they need to take an L, catch an L, a real L, so they can get back to storytelling and they can get back to the art that made them the big two in the first place. Because right now,
so what are they doing right now? I need come on, tell it. So what's the problem?
They not doing enough, Phil. I'll just say it like that. I think that they have opportunities to do some incredible things, but I feel like they under the thumb of some gatekeepers and some people that just want to push agendas. They need to get back to storytelling.
So that's what I wanted you to. That's what I wanted you to say. I wanted you to say. I think there's a lot of agenda-based situations going on right now, but that's for another story. But
yeah,
that's messing up the culture of comics in general. But moving on, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, so, but that's just Derek, you don't have to put a disclaimer on that. But I'm just saying these guys. I feel like they're not seizing the time. They have a lot of. We got Blade, we got Black Panther out, right? But listen, those guys are kind of like after favorites. People are talking about they're talking about the antagonists. They're talking about the stuff that Concrete is doing. They're talking about Stranger Comics, Tales of Asunder. They're talking about that stuff. That stuff is in the shops now, next to Marvel and DC now. There was a time that it wasn't in the Marvel. It wasn't in the LCS. Now it's in the LCS. So that's telling me that, okay, this has gone from I can order this online. I'm having to participate in a Kickstarter. Now I can go to my LCS. I can put this actually on my pull list.
Right.
And I can get it for a decent amount of money. I'm not paying premium prices, $10 for a comic and $8 for shipping. It's just a trip down to the corner LCS right now.
Right.
But y'all come back next week because we gonna go in.
And also, just a shameless plug. On October 13th, we're gonna have a roundtable with some black independent comic creators to discuss the black indie community. It's a real important discussion. So October 13th. Oh, look at that! Already has the flyer up for it.
That was quick.
That was quick.
Yep, that's what's up. So anyway, let's get back to these books. We hadn't even got to the Marvel stuff yet.
That's all right. But, that's how we doing all right.
Yeah. So, all right. Now we got a few here. The Living Color, the Two Live Crew. Now that Public Enemy one, I don't have that one, but I do have the Public Enemy issue 0, which is like the preview of that book. I do have that. But yeah, Chuck D and Public Enemy, you know, they were kind of, I would say, on the ground floor when it comes to graphic novels and
definitely
being featured in comic books early on. So shout out to those guys, man. Harriet Tubman Demon Slayer. Well, I can't wait to talk about it next week. So let's talk about these Marvel books. Now, Marvel, somebody over at Marvel got the idea. They said, hey, I know, let's make some comic books with some hip hop covers. They didn't do this for rock, covers.
They did not.
Album covers.
They did afterwards.
Huh?
I think they tried rock covers and it didn't last. We only did a few issues and it was like, it didn't work.
Yeah, the impact didn't work. Yeah. Shout out to hip hop on the top.
All
on the
day.
top floor like it's supposed to be.
For sure.
So there are a number of hip hop covers that Marvel put out. Marvel put out actually 2 books, Volume 1 and Volume 2, where you can see all the covers. There are a lot of hip hop covers.
For sure.
That one that is on the right there, which is the Wolverine number 1, which is
great cover.
The DMX homage to DMX. Blood in My Blood. Yeah, that's a pretty ill cover. But yeah, there's so many, man. We're gonna show you guys a few. Those are the books that you can get. You can order those off of Amazon if you would like.
Marvel made so many hip hop covers, they actually had to have a tabletop book for you to look at all the covers they came out with.
Mm-hmm. And guess what? Some of those covers go for major bread. Now that one there, sure. the entered into the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. That is a Squadron Supreme number 1. I have that. That's one of my favorites for sure. Yep, that's a dope cover. Now these two
that's Schoolie D.
Yes, that Karnic number 1. That's a Schoolie D Saturday Night album. And just to give you a story, the first time I heard Schoolie D was in a record shop called Sound Waves. Shout out to DJ Premier. DJ Premier was at the store that day, I believe, and they played the album. Now it's important for everybody to understand that Schoolie D is considered to be godfather of gangster rap.
The first.
He is the apex predator when it comes to this gangster stuff. Okay, he's the guy. But his first album is called Saturday Night, the album. It's a classic album. It's an amazing album. The production on it is bananas. Ice-T says the first time he heard Schoolie D, it sounded like angel dust on wax. It's pretty psychedelic. But I mean, his production is pretty amazing. So that's a Philly legend, Schoolie D. But I have no love for Karnic, issue number 1 at all. That was strictly a cover by. I could care less about Karnic, as a character or whatever, but that was strictly a cover by. Now the other book, on that other hand, is different because that's Luke Cage, or should I say Power Man Iron Fist, which is the homage to the Mobb Deep Shook Ones cover. So yeah, You know, I like the way they made, you know, my man, you know, Danny Rand got his lip on, you know. It's like I said, okay, you're a white boy. I need you to look a little tough. Just do your lip a little. But yeah, that's one of my favorites, man. That's one of my favorite covers too. So shout out to Mobb Deep, bro, and crazy production. Now,
probably one of the most sought after hip hop covers.
Yes, that goes for crazy money, bro. Do you have that, Phil?
Yes,
I have it as well.
I mean, you know, yeah. Shout out to y'all, man. You know, Miles, I'll tell you, Miles sell money. Miles is money. He's a cash cow. Anything that dude appears on. So, you know, that Nas cover, you know, that Illmatic, that album that you talked about earlier, Phil, is incredible. You know, one of my favorite, that intro song on that album, got to be one of the best. That piano line, do 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 do. That's it's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. And shout out to Nas because he has not had a album since then. He's had some good stuff. I don't want to say he hadn't had no good stuff, but that album, that's like an albatross, bro. That album was perfect. It had production, everybody, you know. One of my favorite songs on the album, "One Love," features Q-Tip on it. It's amazing. Man. It's great.
And that's Q-Tip on the beat too. That beat's crazy.
Yep. So yeah, that's
crazy.
And of course, what would life be like without a ODB food stamp card album cover? Howard the Duck. So that's a little ill. That's pretty ill. Shout out to ODB.
I wanted to get this cover when it first came out, but I'm like, I'm not into Howard the Duck. Why am I buy a Howard the Duck comic just for the cover? I had to have some type of rationalization as to.
Listen, let me tell you something.
It's the ODB homage.
I know. I regret it now, but you know.
They listen. Some of these covers are dope, but there was a few that they missed on. Let's just keep it real.
Oh, definitely. Some of the artwork on some of these covers was trash.
Yeah, some of them didn't even look like the album.
Some of these new artists are trash. Never mind. Let's go. I'm sorry.
A lot of Marvel's artists right now are trash. Honestly,
shout out to Marvel. But your books are trash. Your paper quality is trash. Just trash.
Not all of it, but there's some that's questionable. There's some questionable moments.
Yeah.
This was a good one.
This is actually really clever.
Sugar Hill.
This was really a clever cover, to be honest with you.
This was a good one.
Yeah, that was clever.
I wish I had this one.
What kills me is that they put the illest covers on comic books that nobody cares about.
Oh man. Dr. Wizard just dropped in just to flex on us.
There we go. Throw that in there. We can't really see it. There we go.
You gotta big yourself up bigger than that, man.
That's dope. But I mean, you know,
go ahead, make yourself big. Go ahead, make yourself big, Derek.
Nice. There you go.
Uh-oh. All right, he got in a 9.8. Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
We've been flexed upon.
That's dope.
That cover's crazy.
The Imperious Flex strikes again, Tamiko says. This is one I regret I didn't get.
Yeah. Riri Williams.
That's a
Missy
classic.
Elliott under construction. I'm sorry. Yeah. And Missy was in her old school bag when she did that album. Yeah.
Oh, this is one I've been searching for this one.
Great cover. And I'm gonna tell you what though, that's a slept on album to me. I like this Dre album, and it featured a whole lot of Anderson .Paak joints on it. This is a slept on project. Super slept on project.
I think the reason why a lot of people slept on that, bro, is because Dre had literally had everybody and their mama waiting for a product to come out, and everybody just fell asleep.
Well, people
Literally.
people people thought he was gonna do the Chronic 3 and he dropped something. So here's the thing: no matter what Dre drops, it's not going to get the reception that it should get because people are going to always. People are just weird at this particular point. But
Right. Yeah, that's dope though. That's dope. Said Rich, you tripping? Nas' last 4 albums have been heralded as classics. I'm about to cancel your invite. Well, brother, it's okay. I'm
Man,
not really.
name the 4 albums.
Well,
Name the 4 albums.
Let me. I mean, he's talking about King's Disease, and I know. Listen, I'm not into hip hop like that, like I used to be. If I was into it hardcore like that, maybe I could make that statement. But I'm really coming from the standpoint that when Illmatic came out, he dropped Nas, I Am, Nostradamus. He dropped a few albums, whatever, and none of it was nowhere near the first Illmatic album. He did a Stillmatic album. He still hadn't reached it yet.
So
and I'm not saying
here's the debate. Here's the debate. We talked about top hip hop albums of all time. When you put out a perfect album, where is there for you to go?
Yeah.
Lauryn Hill has not recovered. She put out a perfect album.
Yeah, but Lauryn Hill still can't get to nowhere on time. So
despite that, I'm talking creatively.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
If you put out a perfect album, where do you go from there?
As a whole adult, you can't show up on time. Like, it's ridiculous at this point. I love her to death. Like, speaking of Nas, I think, you know what? We segued into, there's a really dope song with Nas and Lauryn Hill. And she actually addresses about how people concerned about her lateness. Meanwhile, she's trying to save baby. You could be on time and save the children. Like, for you to save the children, you actually got to be on time. But I digress. Let's move forward.
I mean, I get excited. I think that here's the thing about the problem I have with Lauryn Hill is this. Like you said, Paul, she may have put out the perfect album, but you're an artist.
You still got to make more records.
Exactly. Your job is to entertain. Okay, you got all these joints with the Fugees that just as dope, right? You put out this album. Where's the return? Where's the next album? And I'm not saying you can't live your life or whatever and, do your thing. But to Phil's point, if you're going to ask somebody to come and hear you perform the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill in person, you can show up on time. Your audience is not 20-year-olds. Your audience are 40 and 50-year-old people. We got to get up in the morning and go to work. Everybody trying to be around for 2 hours because you trying to get it together. I need to be home by midnight. I don't need to get started at midnight.
and especially since you only and it's not a diss, but it's selfish, and I'm an adult. I can take this. It's you only got one album. People who coming to see you love your music. Show them, I believe if I'm doing an event and we start at 10, doors open at 9. Showtime's at 10, lights come on at 10, we're going. People paid their money. I want to respect people's pockets. Because like you said, we're adults. We got to get babysitters. We have to take off work. We have to do this, get our haircuts, get our all this other stuff you got to do. As an artist, it is your job to show respect to those who spend the money on you, because without them, you wouldn't be able to live the life that you live without the people who are pouring into you. Be on time.
Yeah, that is. Message. Okay.
But to Mark Robinson's point, though, too, I will say Illmatic is my favorite Nas album. I didn't particularly like the ones after that, but people do like the Hit Boy albums. I personally think they're okay, but there are people who love it because they feel like it's that it feels like the old Nas to them. But when I think of Nas, I always go back to Illmatic. So I'm stuck in that. But I do like some of the Hit Boy joints. So I just want to give Mark some of that because I know he's going crazy over there.
The point I was trying to make is, you have certain artists that make a perfect album, and where do they go from that?
You got to keep going.
You keep going.
Well,
I agreed. Creatively, if you're an artist, you're supposed to be a creative person, and it's being creative and expressing yourself through your art is something of what you do. It's who you are.
I tell you
So
what
you
you do,
you
Paul.
should
I tell you what
always
you do.
continue to make music, but you can create something that if it's perfect, everything else after that, even though it can be good, will always be compared to that original perfect thing that you did.
I will say this. An artist spends their lifetime creating their first album. Lauryn Hill has had 30 plus years.
It doesn't just have to be
I'm
Lauryn
sure
Hill.
she
I'm not
got
talking about
something.
Lauryn Hill. I'm talking in general.
I know. I'm sure she got something else that she could say. That's all I'm saying. To that point, you ask after you make the perfect album. Go ask 50 Cent. When 50 Cent dropped in the club after that, it's been downhill ever since. But all the dude has ever done on his way down here is to start Stars. You know, he made Stars an actual respected streaming service through the Power Universe. You do different things. You move on, like he said. You do something. You entertain. You're an entertainer. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm just saying. I think that all of these guys who create this art or whatever, they don't want to necessarily we don't necessarily want a miseducation of Lauryn Hill part 2, right? But the same thing can be said about like an artist like Mary J. Blige. Has Mary J. Blige made an album better than My Life?
Maybe. I think
Or what's the 411?
Some of her other albums are, some of her new albums are really dope, but you gotta give it to Mary because Mary gonna keep making music. Mary gonna keep hitting you with these new joints. I mean, the Isley Brothers come out with a record every 2 years. They've been making records since the 50s.
Yep.
I don't like when black artists get into. I understand, some of these artists are weird, man. Let's just keep it 100. Let's just keep it 100. I can tell you firsthand, some of these cats are just weird. And they get into themselves. If you don't want to make music, that is fine. We can respect that. Like I can't sit there and tell artists to keep making music. You don't want to make music, that is fine. But you can't be upset if fans want to hear new music. You want to give it to them, that's okay. But respect your fans. Be on time. Be gracious. All that type of stuff. That's just me. That's we're gonna
Paul,
be on this.
Phil sound like he'd have been to see Lauren in Pittsburgh. And
I know better.
Phil seems like he feels some kind of way about that.
No, because I know. So I know individuals. I know individuals that feel like, it's a give and take. There's artists who feel like, oh well, they feel like I owe them something. I don't owe them anything. And then there's also the audience that feels like the artist owes them something. It's not like that. It's a perfect give and take. There's a give and take. It's an exchange of goods and services. I've paid for this. This is what I expect. And both are allowed to have don't have the same opinion. Say like I didn't like that, but I don't like artists who are not on time. I have an issue with that. I just do. It's rude to me. No, consistently not on time. Life gets in life's way, but I'm talking about having a reputation of not being on time. No, you can't get my ticket money.
That's her reputation, unfortunately. So let's get back to these covers. Some more of these covers, guys.
Yes, let's go. Let's go.
What you got, Derek? Oh man. Uh-oh.
That's Bill Sienkiewicz, right?
Okay, here we go. Yes.
That's Sienkiewicz, right? Bill Sienkiewicz is one of the greatest comic artists of all time.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
It's not even up for debate. Covers, his whole style, and he's a comic artist who was actually doing hip hop covers before anybody was. He did EPMD covers like that's, and we're talking. Even he wasn't even like a super famous comic book artist to a certain degree.
That's actually a good point, Phil, that we never talked about. Is when we're doing the reverse. We're talking about hip hop covers. I'm talking comic book covers that emulated hip hop covers, without pointing out the fact that there are hip hop covers that had comic book artists on them.
Well, he did that for 2 of his covers. He went and redid his RZA cover. He did that with the Nick Fury, and he
was it Dennis Cowan that did the RZA one? I mean the just Liquid Swords. was Dennis Cowan, wasn't it?
Dennis Cowan did that one. But I
Right.
know that. But I'm
Yeah.
saying that the thing is that he did the RZA Bobby Digital, and then he did the Nick Fury, which was a flip of his other artwork. That's
Okay.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then what was the other one that he did? He did I think he may have done another one, but I'm not sure if it was a flip of his own work or not. So I know he did Bobby Digital's album. He did EPMD. He did the Kid Cudi. He did the Kid Cudi artwork, and he did the Kid Kid Cudi homage. Come on, man! I know my stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go, y'all. Let's get to it.
Shout
He's
out to
one of my
RZA. That album was pretty good. I
that
gotta
cover's
say
crazy.
my favorite RZA project is the project he did with the Gravediggers.
Man, come on now. Woo.
That album was bananas.
Him
The
and
sword and the
Prince
sword.
Paul on the beats. Was that him and Prince
Yes,
Paul on the beats?
yes, sir. And Fruquan, Stetson Sonic, yes, sir.
It
Yes,
was like
sir.
Stetson Sonic with the RZA on beats.
Mhm. Pretty much. That's an ill album, an ill album.
Great.
They was on something when they did that album, but yeah. So shout out to what else we got?
That's in
All
Kevich
right,
too, ain't it? That's in Kevich.
man. And
Yeah,
that
St.
is
Kevich. St. Kevich is a
ill.
monster, man.
Yeah, that's pretty ill there. That's pretty ill. Relapse, one of Eminem's wackest albums. He's had some dope stuff, but that was a pretty whack album. For Eminem anyway, his standards anyway. So
Which album was this one?
This right here. This is
Yeah.
Kid Cudi. This is a Kid Cudi
Oh,
album.
that's the Kid Cudi one.
Yes, that's in Kevich too.
man, look at that aesthetic, bro. That's crazy. Colors on that.
And so that's my favorite. That's my favorite cover right there. That's in Kevich that Alchemist and Prodigy album, the Albert Einstein album. I love that. I love that album, and I love what he did to it too. Like Sienkiewicz is the goat of the hip hop covers, in my opinion. Nobody's touching him. And
Okay,
that
I've never
Nighthawk is
seen that.
crazy too.
I've never seen that Nighthawk cover. That's my
Yeah,
first.
man.
This is my first time seeing it. I'm gonna go try to find that
Oh yeah.
tonight.
See,
That's pretty bad. That's bad, bro. That's God. Look at that, bro.
they go to EPMD. Look at that, man. Look at that EPMD artwork, man, that he did back in the day. It's
Yeah,
crazy,
that was a great album too.
man.
That was a great album.
Boy,
Which one? Wait, is the one on the left a comic book cover?
no, that's it with the actual. That's the actual painting by itself, and
Oh,
then that's with the actual. That's the trade dress. How about that?
the trade. The Virgin and the trade.
That's the
dress.
Virgin, the trade dress.
Yeah. I bet you he got the original art somewhere.
I
And it's
asked
got
him.
about 5 figures on. You did?
I asked him. Did he have it? He didn't. I mean, I don't know. I bothered him multiple times, and he's like, "Man, I wish this dude would stop hitting me up, man, because I would love to get my hands on
Yeah,
this."
that's pretty ill. That's pretty ill. Yeah. Yeah, everybody screams Alex Ross without even thinking about oh
Oh
boy,
man,
that's
Alex Ross is a monster too. Now,
yeah, he is. But he's like you said, he's right there though. I mean,
oh for sure.
that's pretty good.
What's the next one?
So what we got? What else we got? Might be ready to do the show and tell with Phil right now.
You know what? Let's see. Since we doing some give me 1 second.
What you got, bro? What you got? What you got?
You know what? I feel like I'm gonna do something special today since we're here.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Is this a Black Glove moment? It's a Black Glove. Oh my God.
We're gonna do something special.
Phil's doing the Black Gloves. Yo, big him up right now.
So I'm gonna do something for Rich, actually.
Damn, we should have some theme music when he does this, man.
I'm gonna do something for Rich because Rich I don't know which one this is though. I'm about to open up something I haven't opened in. This isn't. I got a hip hop related one, but I got something I want to do for Rich because Rich kind of put me on to something a year ago, and I've been.
Damn, is this
You got
unwrapping?
uh-oh.
I feel like a kid at Christmas.
I've never unwrapped. I got two of these. I just want to make sure I do the right one. I've never unwrapped these. Oh, this is. Oh yeah. All right. So a year ago, Rich, I'm gonna give you your props. I gotta give it to you. Okay.
Appreciate
It was it was either you or Paul. I think it was Rich. And you kept talking about there's a particular book everybody needs to jump on because it's gonna be worth so much money because of it being so significant, right? Because it's a particular character, it's finally coming into the MCU. It's the first time he comes into the MCU. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about right now.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Secret Wars.
Please don't tell me you have the original art because I will.
it.
So I have
This better not be the one I'm thinking about.
so I have some original artwork from Secret Wars #9.
This better not be the Sarah Pacelli joint.
I have
Whoa.
I have where Black Panther fought Doctor Doom, the Eric Assad joint. So that was when the Panther and him was fighting. This was like on the next to the last page, and these were the original pictures, actual pictures from Eric Assad. And
Wow.
I've never unveiled this until now, and this
That's
is
ill,
like
bro.
this is man. I remember
Assad Ribic.
Saw Ribic, man. I saw him draw something in person one time, and I lost my mind.
That dude's
He
artwork is on another level.
is on another level. So this is, you know what? I'm feeling good today, man. I'm gonna drop one.
That was me that told you about that book.
That was you.
Show
Okay,
It was me that told you about that book.
so I was gonna put this on a what's my show called? Collections in Black. This is crazy. But I'm gonna drop this one here too. 'Cause I need to put these up. I'm tired of these not being up. I have another Secret Wars.
We could put you on every week, man, if you want.
I have another Secret Wars. I haven't looked at this one yet like this though. I have another one.
Got another Secret Wars.
T'Challa and Submariner when they were fighting the dead, and when Submariner threw the spear at MODOK up there, and you got T'Challa looking, you got the dead Captain Britain, and you got I think that Submariner who was like, man, who we rolling with or whatever, and they're like, it's crazy.
Man, that's the first time T'Challa flexed his King of the Dead powers, man.
Very first time he flexed that power.
Oh,
very first time. So I've had these for about a year, and I just was these were going up in my. Actually, this is going to go into my exhibit. I believe we're putting this in the exhibit.
That's what's up,
man. I need an excuse to bring them out. I'm looking at these now, and it's just like I'll be honest. I couldn't believe I got those pieces when I got them, and it was like it was a blessing to be able to get it. I got one more piece to show you.
No, there's more.
There's more. There's something crazy. And this is it.
I had to give my man his platform.
And this is it. I'm gonna show you this. So, y'all have seen this already. I'm sure you've seen this already, but
I'm over here salivating.
That's
the Billy Graham. Is that the Billy Graham?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we're doing hip hop, right? We're doing hip hop.
Yes, sir. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For those who don't know, Billy Graham is my personal favorite Black Panther artist. He did the Jungle Actions. One day I happened to stumble upon some artwork he did of a particular hip hop icons. And Billy Graham did some original salt and pepper pieces. These are penciled and ink. This is all Billy Graham, original one-of-one artwork. I had to hit the Billy Graham estate to make sure it was real, and they said, "Yeah, man, you're the only person that has these." So
Wow.
I'm gonna take this out.
Yeah, that's dope.
Wow.
That's salt. No, that's Spinderella. My bad. I believe that's Spinderella. That's pepper right there, and that's salt right there. And these are Billy Graham pieces.
That's what's up.
And I'm not even
One
gonna
of
tell
one.
you. I one of ones, and I found them on eBay, sitting there, sitting, just sitting. So they was meant to come to my house, you know,
That's perfect for you, man. That's perfect.
man. And that's
That's
going
what's
up
How do
in
you
the
not have those framed up in your house yet?
because I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with them. But I have them in a case. They're in the case, man. Nobody's there's a case. There's guns in this house too. So you come try if you want to. Um, we got something for you. But it's
That's what's up. That's what's up. So
Just
while we
memorize
showing
a
and
line.
telling, yeah, Phil, I want you to at this time, I want you to take some time out and talk about your project, your passion project that you're doing in terms of your
so
Please,
showcasing.
please, please, please talk about it.
so um I've been inspired to do things. I'll be honest, the Black comic lords have inspired me as well. And I have an exhibit coming up in 2024 at the world famous August Wilson Center in Pittsburgh, PA. And it's going to be about Black comics, Black comic history. It's going to be about the artist, the culture. I'm going around the country. I'm shooting the documentary. I'm getting with some of my friends at some particular point. I'm trying to get with Rich and Paul. I'm trying to get y'all in the film. I've already shot brother Mike Carson. Robert Fordham, who we call Mr. Foreign, he came up to Pittsburgh and I shot with him. Matter of fact, he came up during I had a concert with the Locks, and he kicked it with me that weekend. And then we also went to the con together. That was like one of the greatest weekends because I actually saw they had honored a bunch of us in the square, and he created a hip hop wall of fame, and my name was on it. And Robert, who's a fellow collector, was with me at the time of me seeing it for the very first time. And it was funny because right before we signed our sign, we walked right past Mike Tyson, who was just walking downtown. Like it was just like the most surreal situation. But my exhibit is going to be it's an incredible exhibit. I got a lot of brothers helping me with it. John Jennings has signed on to help me with the exhibit. Ken Quattro is somebody that I'm be working with as well. I'm in the process of getting Rodney Barnes. We've been talking um, about assistant as well, and it's going to be a big piece. Um, in January, I believe I'm about to get a street named after Matt Baker. Actually, the street that he grew up in, because Matt Baker grew up here in Pittsburgh, and his original house is still standing. And
Hmm.
we're in the process of looking at that as well. And it's like the only house that is still standing. It's Matt Baker's original
Is it a
property.
historic? Is it recognized as a historical?
No, so I'm trying to do all of that, and I just found out something recently that I'm about to tell y'all that I haven't told anybody. But I have a lot of friends at the Pittsburgh Courier. The Pittsburgh Courier is the first black newspaper, and they also had the first black comics. Obviously,
Right.
there's a room here in Pittsburgh that has all of those old stuff that has not been digitalized yet and hasn't been put up yet. So the person who used to do that was a guy that I know, rest in peace, and he had just incredible pieces. And I've been talking to them where possibly I may get a chance to go down there and see what's there. We're talking original black comic strips
Wow.
from
Wow.
yeah, like black artwork, black this, black that. And I mean, like I said, it's here and it's in a room that's locked. And I think the keys like in Detroit, like it's crazy, but I think, God willing, I'm about to have access to some of that stuff and hopefully it gets in my exhibit. But the exhibit's in 2024. It's gonna be a black exhibit. We're gonna be recognizing Jackie Orms, who's also from Pittsburgh,
Wow.
Matt Baker, my film's going to be showing, and then there's going to be sections where we're going to do, golden age, the modern age, original artwork, things of that nature in the film. Oh, and remember the when we all helped get that plate for Mr. Fuller
Yeah.
for the
Mhm.
Eben, that's going to be in the
Right.
exhibit as well.
Oh
I had
wow.
that conversation, so I'm gonna have that. I'm gonna have that in exhibit as well. So
When is this gonna be, Phil?
it's gonna be in 2024 in June.
That's my birthday.
Well, you need to make sure you're in the building. And so I haven't been doing the collections in black because I kind of been chilling because working on this. But I'm about to start leading up to that. I'm gonna start doing some promos for that, and that's gonna be part of it. But I would love to give Black Comic Lures the exclusives on what's going on, and hopefully y'all can help me in part of the process. It's gonna be
Just
dope,
That's what's
man.
up.
This is
just
for
tell
us,
us what you
man.
need, man. We're there for you.
This is for us. This is for us. So it's gonna be dope.
That's what's up.
That's
And
what's
that's
I
up.
it.
tell you
I'm
what.
looking
That's it.
forward to it. I'm gonna make a trip to go see it, man. For real.
You're gonna make a trip to go see it on opening night. There's no I'm making a trip to go see it. I need my peoples there. It's gonna be a crazy opening night. We're gonna show the film then. I need everybody there.
I'll be there, man. Just make sure you give me the date and I'll block it off in my books ahead of time.
Okay. We working together, so you gonna know the date.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Hey man,
Amen.
y'all
I tell
y'all
you
y'all
what,
really
guys.
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go
No,
ahead.
y'all.
Go ahead, Phil.
I just want to say in all honesty, man, I really appreciate what y'all do. Y'all guys putting a lot of work. Y'all do this every week without fail, and it's not an easy situation. And with so many different comic podcasts and websites and things of that nature, I just want to salute y'all because y'all do a great job. And it's not easy, and y'all not making $1 million. Y'all love doing this, and most people wouldn't have stayed in it as long as y'all have. So I want to commend y'all on that. And
Appreciate that.
I
Appreciate
it's
that.
just
appreciate that,
it's
man.
real.
I
It's real.
really appreciate
Absolutely.
that.
Okay. Well,
I
I'll
guess
tell you
I
what,
guess I guess I
man.
can't
I
quit
want
now.
Mhm.
to. No, you can't. I just want to say that I want to thank you, Phil, for your presence tonight. You are a great man. What I'm gonna tell you, I don't want you to take it lightly because as someone who is in the people business through the ministry, things of that nature, you're a DJ by passion, by trade, and things of that nature. You're a comic head by passion and trade. But more than anything, you're a good man. And if you wasn't a DJ, if you wasn't a comic head, you would still be Philip Thompson, good man.
For
I
sure.
can recognize and discern that much from just being around you, talking to you, and how you move. Um, I admire your passion for what you do and the square you stand on when it comes to our hobby, this thing of ours. I really respect it. And so when I did this show, you was the one person I had in mind to do the show because um, I love hip hop, and even though I'm not connected to it like I used to be, I still have fond memories of it. I still the aesthetic of it, the smell of it,
Right.
the ideals and all that still are part of who I am as a person. Um, but I wanted somebody that was authentically connected, and you that bro, and so I salute you for all that you do, bro. And Real Talk with Rich is always be here for you as a platform to share
Appreciate you.
whatever it is you got going on. Just holler at your boy. And with
Appreciate
that said, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Oh, we got a super chat. Praise God. We
you.
got a
Uh-oh.
super chat.
Hey, I got a festival next
Try.
week too. Hey, can I plug my festival next week? I got a festival on Saturday. A couple weeks ago, I said I want to do
Yes,
my
sir.
own
Please do.
festival. Oh, there we go. Eastburg. I've been rocking everybody's festival. I just did the Jazz Fest this weekend. I was with Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Gerald Albright, blah, blah, blah. We could go on and on, Bob James. But sometimes you gotta do your own. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I said, let me go ahead and try my own. And it's gonna be my first one. And it's this Saturday coming up in Pittsburgh, PA. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area, come through, kick it. We got my whole Union family, the best DJs on the planet, tons of bands, and it's dope. Cause I get to do an event with my step pop's band in it. Somebody that I saw
Wow.
growing up as a kid who influenced me to be able to employ my stepfather. It's crazy. That's crazy, man. And I got my
So,
brothers in there, and it's just, my motto is monetize your passions. And I truly believe we should be monetizing our passions, because if you don't, somebody else will. And shout out to my Aunt G for that. Somebody else will. But monetize your passions, man. It can be done. You don't know what you can do unless you do it. But I appreciate the love, and I give it right back to you. And if you're in Pittsburgh, make your way to Eastburg. It's a labor of love, and we're gonna make it do what it do.
all right. Now, Phil, before you go, bro, give us your social media. Where people can follow you at?
DJ Big Phil with 2 L's at Gmail. My YouTube is 33 and a third media, and I'm in the process of switching all of that. I'm looking for a social media person who is an expert to just handle all of that, because I don't want to do any of that at this particular point. I want to create it and give it to whoever, because it's that time. Shout out to my homeboy Mo from Mo Knows Best, who did the flyer. He's so busy doing so many other big projects. He took the time to do mine when he didn't have to. But like I said, DJ Big Phil was my IG, Philip Thompson on Facebook. But I'm about to do a Collections in Black IG as well, a Collections in Black website. I'm gonna have somebody do a Twitter page. I'm gonna wind up having to do a TikTok, which I don't want to do, but I'm gonna have somebody do that as well. But it's just time to I'm
Expand.
about to do it all. But DJ
Yeah.
Big
That's what's
Phil,
up.
IG, and 33 and the third media is my YouTube page.
That's what's up.
Okay. That's what's up. All right. So
Oh,
with
shout
that
out
being
to
said,
Sean
guys,
World. Thank you for the super chat. Uh,
thanks for the
um,
super chat. Run our
Donation. It's a donation. I thought it was the trash. Don't be hitting on me.
Thank you.
I didn't know super chat was a thing. I didn't know we could do super chats. I wish we got to start putting up there that you could do super chats, so people can start sending in money. That needs to be like at the header, like super chat. Like I would definitely send more bread if it was
there you go.
super chats.
yeah,
There
there
he
we go.
goes.
There we go. But listen, guys,
Now,
we got to go ahead and get up on out of here. We've had a wonderful time talking hip hop, top 5, top albums, all this nonsense with Paul, all this shenanigans with Phil, and yours truly. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead. Look at our reoccurring lives. We got Real Talk with Rich. We got Wakanda Whiskey Blurred. And also the Ladies Live will return this month. I think it's the 27th, I want to say. That they'll be doing a show talking comics. And some of our recent specials, of course, we talked to Dr. John Jennings, recently Kevin Greavy, very enlightening conversation. Check that out. And
That was
all
that
of
was a
those
dope
wonderful
conversation.
creators there. You can find all of that on our YouTube channel. If you need to reach out to us, please email us at blackcomiclords@gmail.com. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and give the benediction. And the
yes, sir.
benediction comes from the Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, verses 13 and 14. It says, happy is the man that finds wisdom and the man that gets understanding. For the merchandise of it is better than the merchandise of silver and gold. From the stronghold that is Black Comic Lords and Black Superheroes Forever, it's your boy Rich with the OG Paul and our guest DJ Phil. We bid you good night. Take care of yourselves. God bless. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.